and putting media converters and media players on there, because a lot of people have the Xbox 360 and whatnot, and they are able to play. And I'm telling you right now, and then I'm not putting any kind of copy protection on top of that. They've gone viral around here.
And that's the way to do it. People don't understand that what's so cool about PrisonPlanet.tv is that you can go and get the DivX AVI versions of my films and Alex's films now. You can usually fit 3 to 6 films on one simple disc, depending on how large it is. And like you said, you can hand it to somebody who has a PlayStation 3 or a Xbox 360, and they now play on those players just like a DVD. We're in the modern age. So on top of that, they also play through YouTube. So if you're on Xbox Live, Chris, you can be talking to a group while you're playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare or Halo 3 in one of those group things and say, hey, check out this film Invisible Empire for free on YouTube, and they go to the link and they watch it. There's so many ways to spread the word through this modern technology, and that's what scares the establishment. They don't have full control over the internet and social networking via these video game consoles that are ever so popular.
It just takes 5 minutes to burn a disc, and it's amazing the results.
All right, Chris, I appreciate the call. I appreciate the call. Go Infowarriors. See, there's yet another example of how you can get involved. He's not talking to his local sheriff. He's getting involved with his local community by awakening people to the Obama deception, to Fall of the Republic, to the invisible empire that surrounds us. Mike in Massachusetts. Mike, you're online. Yes, sir.
Hi, Jason.
Yes.
Good to talk with you. We've been listening to you guys, you and Alex, for a long time now, and we love you because you're so accurate. Everything you do is so well documented, and I mean, we take it as the biblical truth because you guys are just awesome. You know?
Well, thank you.
However, you said something earlier in today's show that disturbed me. It disturbed me a little bit.
All right, let's hear it.
You said you didn't think Bush knew about 911.
No, I don't.
Well, he very certainly did. And
all right, Mike. Before we get into a big argument about it, but I'm going to let you say your piece, and maybe we'll take up the rest of the segment with it. His father, to me, is much more of a player in the sense that he puts together these intelligence ops. He was a part of the shadow government back when he was the vice president under Reagan. He was actually in the White House on the morning of 9/11 while his son was not. Now, I'm going to listen to your evidence that you think that he may have known something about 9/11 beforehand. He definitely was warned in the PDB memos on that level with Osama bin Laden determined to attack the United States with suicide hijacked planes. That's the August PDB. So on that level, sure, did he know? But I just don't believe that he knew that he was in the middle of a black operation, a U.S. covert operation in conjunction with Israel, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia. But I'm going to give you the floor. Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you very much, Jason.
You got it.
I'm sure you've seen the video of where he was and what he was doing at the time when the planes flew into the building.
Absolutely.
Are you familiar with that? Yeah, he was in front of a bunch of middle schoolers, ready to give a speech. A few minutes after it happened, a CIA guy or an FBI guy or whatever,
a Secret Service agent,
whispers in his ear.
Yep.
And what does Bush do? What happens then? He sits back with a little half a smile on his face and folds his hands in his lap. He'd just been told that the U.S. was under attack. And what does he do? He sits back with a little smile. Now, come on, Jason.
Well, all right, let me say this, though. The guy, hold on, Mike. Let me say, because I've looked at that tape thousands of times, and the guy that you're talking about is Andrew Card. Andrew Card is a Secret Service officer and a member of the Continuity of Government program. He's the one that walks up to Bush, and God knows what he mumbles into his ear. It may be the U.S. is under attack, or we're under attack, or the World Trade Center is under attack. I think that's a look of nervousness. Now, I don't know if that's nervousness that, oh my God, we're under attack, I don't know what to do. Oh my God, they actually went through with it. This is a black operation. Oh my God, I hope the American people or the world don't figure out what's really going on. All of that to me is absolute speculation. But here's what's not speculation, Mike. If we were truly under attack, obviously the president would be a major target. Now, do you know about the attempted assassination of Bush that morning? Have you ever heard that one? Basically,
no, but can I say one thing, Jason?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
I think that the normal response would have been for a bunch of Secret Service to rush in, whisk him off to a limo, put him in a flying command center, red alert, whatever they do. You know what I mean? But
we're in agreement there, Mike.
He sat back with a smile.
But that's not his decision. But that's not his decision, Mike. That's my point. That's not his decision. Under regular Secret Service protocol, Andy Card should not even have went in there to talk to him. He should have just, like you said, grabbed him, said, sorry, we have to end this. The United States is under attack. Now, of course, they've made the excuse, well, we didn't want to alarm everybody. But yes, that would have been the correct protocol. That was the Secret Service protocol that day, and it didn't happen. But I think that's more on Andy Card and the shadow government's level than George H.W. Bush. He just doesn't seem to me as a guy they would go to in the planning, as a guy they would trust to keep a secret. I don't know if they actually tried to kill him the morning of 9/11, but two guys did come up to the school that morning, said they had an interview with Bush, and the same scenario had happened the day before, and they had killed a world leader. So, again, I guess we're just going to have to agree to disagree on this one. I do not think there's no doubt in my mind that Bush knew somewhat after the fact that, you know, this story wasn't the real one. But even on the level of, you know, I don't know if the guy even realized it's an inside job to this day. He's so isolated. He's a guy who wanted to be the head of the Major League Baseball. He had no desire to get into politics. His father forced him into politics after his other son, Neil Bush, got caught in that huge SEC scandal. So he had to parlay into Jeb and GW as the new spokesman for the family. So you may be right and I may be wrong. There's really no way to tell. But from the research that I've done, I don't believe Bush had any knowledge of 9/11 or helped in the planning of 9/11 beforehand. I do think that along the way, some things got wind, and he did obviously help with the cover-up, but we'll never know because Bush and Cheney testified not under oath together before the 9/11 Commission, and no records were kept of what they said. Appreciate the call. Let's go to Skip in California. Skip, you're on the line.
Hey, first I'm going to say Invisible Empire is probably the best Patriot documentary I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, that was trying to kind of do the point. Not only trying to get the best, I guess, Patriot or conspiracy documentary out there, but something that looked like nothing else on the market and something that would look better than anything that the History Channel could put out. So those were my goals in getting that film out there.
Nice. I had 3 quick points I wanted to touch on. One is I guess there was a CFR guy being interviewed by Chris Matthews, I think, last week, where he said, oh, I have the definition of the word sedition. You know the clip I'm talking about?
No. Please tell us about it.
Well, it was on Infowarrior last week. They had some guy from the CFR, some kind of like press journalist or something, and I think it was on Chris Matthews. And basically they were talking about the Tea Parties, and he says, oh, I did a little research before I came out here. And then he goes over the definition of the word sedition, which was something to the effect of basically trying to convince people that they should overthrow the government, something along those lines. I forget the exact wording. But I would say if that guy were to say that and I was on that show, or if this issue gets brought up again, which I'm sure it will, I would say, yes, I agree. What sedition is with this Constitution, the supreme law with this country, the supreme law of the land is the Constitution, which means in terms of things like the Bill of Rights, where you have free speech and the right to bear arms, and you can't force or you can't make people quarter military in your home, for example. Anyone that tries to deviate from those rights that were guaranteed is indeed committing sedition. So technically he's right, but he's pointing in the wrong direction.
Yes, he's reversing on what it actually is. In fact, the states have a right to secede from the federal government when it becomes too tyrannical, when it gets too far away from the constitutional republic we once were. And we are at the point where we are no longer a constitutional republic, Skip. Unfortunately, we don't have checks and balances. The 3 branches of government, the judicial, executive, and legislative, do nothing to keep up those checks and balances, to check on one another, and we live in a national security state.
Unfortunately so. I had a suggestion, maybe not for you, but anyone out there listening that might want to do this. If there were a documentary to come out as a media textbook, Media 101 textbook, which basically made it so Alex has great discernment. He can look at what's getting reported on the news, and he can tell instantaneously how the manipulation is being used, what the agenda is there. Now, basically, a lot of people that are waking up are becoming aware of what's going on don't necessarily have that type of a discernment. So if basically there was some kind of documentary that came out that broke down what their textbook would be in terms of how to deceive people, how to manipulate them, using the
well, that would be a good idea for a documentary, showing the mainstream media and then breaking down what they're really telling you and what this means for you, or going through mainline news articles. But I suggest people just go and check Edward Bernays' book out, Propaganda. This is the father of public relations. He lays out the case for an invisible government, a ruling class that manipulates the minds of men in the manner that you're discussing.